Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen and enjoy my stories every day. The sun was just beginning to dip below the horizon as I navigated the evening traffic on the freeway. The hum of my car's engine blended with the soft tunes playing on the radio, creating a comforting ambience that eased the tension of my day. I had just wrapped up a particularly grueling day at work, and the thought of finally heading home to my wife, Isabella, filled me with relief. But then, the mood shifted. As I adjusted the radio dial, a voice came through, energetic and brimming with emotion. "This one's for you, Isabella," the man declared, his tone dripping with affection. "You mean everything to me. I'll always love you, no matter what." My heart skipped a beat, a strange sensation settling in my stomach. My mind raced, and I barely registered the lyrics that followed. The name hung in the air like a specter, looming over me. Isabella. My Isabella. It was a common name, sure, but something about the way he said it sent a chill down my spine. I turned up the volume, desperate to catch more of the conversation, convinced that it must be a coincidence. Maybe there were thousands of Isabellas out there, but deep down, a nagging thought gnawed at me. Could it be? My hands tightened around the steering wheel as I recalled the late nights and unexplained absences. I replayed every moment in my head, every fleeting glance, every hushed conversation. As the chorus hit, I could barely think straight, the music mixing with the pounding in my chest. "Isabella, my love," he continued, and I felt a fire ignite within me. Rage coursed through my veins, igniting a fierce desire for revenge. Suddenly, a red light jolted me from my thoughts, and I slammed on the brakes. My heart raced as I pulled over to the side of the road, my mind racing a mile a minute. I could hardly breathe. I had trusted her, given her my heart, my soul, everything. How could she betray me like this? I fumbled for my phone, my fingers shaking as I scrolled through my contacts. My friend Derek had warned me about the signs before, and I dismissed them. I called him on impulse, needing an ally. "Derek, you won't believe what I just heard on the radio," I gasped when he picked up. "What's going on?" His voice was filled with concern. "I just heard a guy professing his love for Isabella on the radio. He was calling her by name. I swear to God, Derek, she's cheating on me." There was a long pause on the line, and I could hear the faint sounds of his office in the background. "Dude, are you sure? I mean, it could be a coincidence." "A coincidence?" I practically yelled, my voice echoing in the confined space of the car. "What are the odds? I just heard her name, my wife's name. What am I supposed to think?" Okay. Just calm down. You need to gather some evidence before you confront her. Don't act on impulse. You might be overreacting, he cautioned, but it was too late. The fury had already taken root in my heart. Overreacting? I'll show her what it means to betray someone. We hung up after that, but my mind was racing. The traffic light turned green, but I didn't move. Instead, I gripped the wheel harder, envisioning the confrontation that awaited. I had trusted Isabella with everything, but this was different, this was betrayal at its most ruthless. As I drove home, the anger morphed into a cold determination. I would confront her, but not before gathering the proof I needed. I wouldn't be the man who let his wife walk all over him. I had to make her understand the pain she had inflicted. That night, I sat in the living room, replaying the radio broadcast in my mind while my heart thumped loudly in my chest. Each creak of the floorboards made me flinch, my thoughts consumed by revenge. I could see it clearly now, her shocked face when I revealed that I knew, the way I would make her feel a fraction of what she had put me through. The clock ticked ominously, and the air grew thick with tension. I decided I wouldn't let her sweep this under the rug. She would pay for what she had done, and I would make sure of it. With my resolve hardening, I began to plot my revenge. I would expose her, confront her lover, and then sever all ties. As the night deepened, I felt a twisted sense of relief. I had a plan, and the thought of finally regaining control felt intoxicating. But little did I know, this was just the beginning of a tumultuous journey that would change both our lives forever. The intrigue of this betrayal was far from over, and I was ready to unleash the storm. The sun rose the next day, casting a warm glow through the bedroom window, but the light did nothing to warm the cold knot of betrayal in my stomach. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying the events of the previous day over and over. Each time the anger surged within me, driving me to rise and confront Isabella. I knew she would be up soon, preparing for her day like any other. How could she act so normal when I was torn apart inside? I rolled out of bed, the sound of the sheets rustling like a whisper of impending conflict. I glanced at my phone, still buzzing from messages and missed calls. Derek had sent a text, "Just be careful, man. You don't want to do something you'll regret." Regret? I scoffed. Regret was for the naive. My heart raced as I headed to the kitchen, where the smell of coffee filled the air. Isabella was humming softly, stirring a pot of oatmeal. She looked up and smiled, a radiant expression that almost made me forget the turmoil inside. Almost. "Good morning, love," she chirped, her voice bright as sunshine. "Morning," I muttered, trying to keep my voice steady. I filled my mug with coffee, the heat radiating into my palm, grounding me for what was to come. As I took a sip, I watched her, the way her hair fell perfectly around her shoulders, the way she moved with such ease. It made my blood boil. I had trusted her, believed in her, and yet here I was, confronted with the knowledge that she might have another man in her life. "Are you okay? You seem a bit off," she said, her brow furrowing in concern. "Just tired," I replied curtly, but my heart raced as I thought about the confrontation ahead. The words of that radio host echoed in my mind, and I couldn't shake the feeling of impending doom. I took a deep breath, deciding to confront her right then and there. "Isabella, we need to talk," I said, my voice steady but laced with an underlying tremor of anger. "Sure, what's up?" She turned to face me, her expression shifting from concern to confusion. "Did you hear the radio yesterday?" I blurted out, watching for her reaction. She blinked, her surprise evident. "What do you mean?" "No, I didn't. Some guy was declaring his love for you. He called your name, Isabella. What do you have to say about that?" I felt my heart race as I watched her face drain of color. "Wait, what?" She stepped back, confusion giving way to apprehension. "I heard it with my own ears." "So, who is he?" My voice rose, slicing through the tension in the air like a knife. "Jack, I promise, I don't know what you're talking about. I swear. Don't you dare lie to me." I interrupted, my voice rising further. "You've been lying for who knows how long, and I'm done with it." Isabella's eyes darted around the room, a mixture of fear and defiance. "You're being irrational. I love you." "Love?" I laughed bitterly, the sound echoing off the kitchen walls. "What kind of love involves cheating? How could you do this to me?" Her composure started to crack, and I could see the facade slipping away. "I'm not cheating on you. I don't even know what you heard. You're just being paranoid." "Paranoid?" I stepped closer, my voice low and threatening. "You think I'm paranoid? You think I'm making this up? I heard a stranger professing his love for you on the radio, and you expect me to believe you're innocent? How stupid do you think I am?" She opened her mouth to protest, but I cut her off again. "I'm not going to sit here and let you manipulate me. This is the moment of truth, Isabella. I want the truth." "Fine," she snapped, her eyes blazing with anger. "If you think I'm cheating, then maybe we should just end this." Her words hit me like a slap across the face. I took a step back, stunned. "You're actually saying that? You'd rather end our marriage than admit the truth?" "Maybe I would. Maybe I'm tired of your constant accusations, she shouted, her voice rising as her eyes flashed with defiance. I felt my heart shatter as the reality of her words sunk in. So, it's true then? You really are cheating on me? I'm not, she screamed, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her. You're just. No. Enough. I interrupted, the rage boiling over. I deserve better than this. I deserve to know if you're lying to me or not. With that, I grabbed my jacket and stormed out of the house, leaving her behind. I needed space to think, to gather my thoughts. I felt like a madman as I paced the sidewalk, my mind racing through all the moments we'd shared, all the love I had poured into this relationship. I dialed Derek's number, my hands shaking with anger. I'm going to find out who this guy is, I said as soon as he picked up. Jack, wait. You need to cool down. No. I won't let this slide. I'm going to confront him, find out what's going on. Be careful, man. You don't know what you're getting into. I don't care. I hung up, determination coursing through my veins. I felt like I was standing at the edge of a cliff, and there was no going back. I was going to find Isabella's lover and make sure he understood exactly what he had done. With a sense of purpose, I headed to the nearest bar where I knew the local crowd hung out. I had a feeling I'd find some answers there. I would uncover the truth, and no matter what it took, I would ensure that Isabella paid for her betrayal. The storm was just beginning, and I was ready to unleash it. The bar is dimly lit, a haze of cigarette smoke mingling with the sharp scent of spilled beer. I step inside, the sound of laughter and clinking glasses fading as I scan the crowd, searching for answers. My heart pounds like a war drum, the rhythm of anger and betrayal propelling me forward. I know Isabella's lover could be anywhere, but I need to act quickly before the trail goes cold. Jack. Over here. Derek's voice cuts through the noise, and I spot him sitting at a corner table, his brow furrowed with concern. I slide into the chair opposite him, the tension palpable between us. Did you find anything? I ask, leaning in closer, my voice low. Not yet, he replies, glancing around the bar. But you need to calm down. You can't just go up to random guys and ask if they're sleeping with your wife. Why not? I shoot back, the anger bubbling to the surface. Isn't that exactly what I need to do? Look, I get it. But you have to be smart about this. You don't want to make a scene. I shake my head, dismissing his concerns. I can't just sit around and wait. I need to know who this guy is. Just then, I notice a group of men at the far end of the bar, their laughter ringing out like a siren call. One of them stands out, a tall guy with tousled dark hair, animatedly chatting with his friends. He seems confident, cocky even, and something about his demeanor sends a jolt of recognition through me. That's him, I say, pointing. That's the guy from the radio. Derek follows my gaze, his eyes widening in realization. Are you sure? Positive. I rise from my seat, my heart racing as I make my way toward the group. The laughter fades into silence as I approach, and the tall guy glances up, a smirk spreading across his face. Can I help you? He asks, feigning innocence, but I can see the glint in his eyes. Yeah, you can, I respond, my voice steady but filled with restrained rage. You think it's funny to declare your love for someone else's wife on the radio? His smirk falters, replaced by confusion. What the hell are you talking about? I'm talking about Isabella, I say, my voice rising with each word. You know, my wife. The one you've been cheating with. Laughter erupts from his friends, and he holds up his hands defensively. Whoa, man. I don't know what you're on about. Isabella? I don't even know her. Stop lying. I stepped closer, the heat radiating off my body. I heard you on the radio, professing your love for her. You can't deny it. The laughter dies down, and the group exchanges nervous glances. "Look, I think you've got the wrong guy," he says, his voice suddenly losing its bravado. "Then why don't you tell me where I can find her?" I demand, my tone icy. "I don't know, man." He shifts uncomfortably, clearly rattled by my intensity. "I've never even met her." In that moment, the anger explodes. I reach out and grab the front of his shirt, pulling him closer until our faces are inches apart. "You think this is a game? You think you can just take what's mine and walk away?" "Hey, let go of him," one of his friends shouts, standing up as he tries to pull me away. But I'm not backing down. "I will end you if you don't tell me the truth." My voice booms through the bar, drawing the attention of several patrons who stop to watch the spectacle unfold. Okay, the guy squeaks out, raising his hands in surrender. "I'm not dating anyone. I swear." "Then who are you talking about?" I demand, my grip tightening. "Who is Isabella to you?" "Look, he stammers, clearly flustered. "I just know her from around town. She's a good friend of a friend, okay? That's all." "Just a friend?" I ask incredulously, releasing my grip. "Is that why you were on the radio? Telling everyone how much you love her?" "Man, I didn't mean it like that," he says, taking a step back, his bravado completely gone. "I was just messing around. It was a joke." I take a deep breath, trying to rein in my fury. "You think this is funny? You think my marriage is a joke?" The tall guy glances at his friends, who look just as uneasy. "I swear, I didn't know she was married. If I had, I wouldn't have said anything." The truth hangs in the air like a fog, and I feel the walls closing in around me. "You expect me to believe that?" "Yeah, man, I do," he insists, desperation creeping into his voice. "Look, I'll even help you find her if you want. I don't want any trouble." I study his face, searching for any sign of deceit. "Fine," I say slowly. "You're going to help me find her, and if I find out you're lying, I won't be so forgiving next time." He nods, relief flooding his features. "Okay, I promise. Just let's get out of here before things escalate." We step outside the bar, the cool night air hitting me like a splash of cold water. I glance at Derek, who has followed me outside, concern etched on his face. "You good?" "I will be," I say, my eyes locked on the tall guy. "Now, where do we go from here?" "I can take you to some places where I know she hangs out," he replies, his voice wavering slightly. "But you have to promise to keep it chill, okay? I really don't want any trouble." I nod, my resolve solidifying. "Just lead the way, and let's find out what's really going on." As we walk through the dimly lit streets, I feel a storm brewing within me. The more I learn, the closer I get to exacting my revenge. I may not know the full story yet, but with every step I take, I can feel the pieces falling into place. I'm ready to uncover the truth, no matter where it leads me. The hunt has just begun, and I won't stop until I get what I want. The moon hung high in the night sky, casting an eerie glow over the city as we drove to the last known location of Isabella. My heart raced, fueled by adrenaline and a burning desire for retribution. The tall guy, Ryan, I learned his name, sat nervously beside me, glancing over his shoulder as if expecting trouble to leap out from the shadows. "Where exactly are we going?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. I could feel the tension radiating off him. "There's a bar downtown where she sometimes meets up with friends." "I swear, that's the last place I saw her," Ryan replied, his hands fidgeting in his lap. "If she's not there, I don't know what else to tell you." "You'd better hope she is," I growled, gripping the steering wheel tighter. "If you're lying to me, you're going to regret it." "Hey, man, I'm not lying. I don't want any trouble." He raised his hands defensively, his eyes wide with fear. The drive felt agonizingly slow, each passing second amplifying the ache of betrayal in my chest. My thoughts spiraled, imagining Isabella with him, her laughter, her flirtation. I wanted to erase every memory of our life together, every moment we had shared. As we approached the bar, a wave of dread washed over me. I parked and stepped out, my body tense with anticipation. The neon lights flickered, bathing the sidewalk in vibrant colors, but all I felt was cold resolve. "Just stick close to me," I said to Ryan, and he nodded, swallowing hard. Inside, the atmosphere buzzed with excitement and the clinking of glasses. I scanned the crowd, searching for a glimpse of Isabella. The moment I spotted her at the bar, my breath hitched in my throat. She was laughing, leaning against a man who looked far too comfortable next to her. My blood ran cold as I realized this was no coincidence, this was the betrayal I had feared. "Is that her?" Ryan whispered, his voice barely audible over the noise. "Yeah," I spat, anger coursing through me like fire. "That's her." "Wait, is that?" He squinted, trying to get a better look. "Is she with someone?" "Yeah, with him." I felt the rage bubbling to the surface, ready to explode. "I can't believe this." I approached the bar, my heart pounding in my chest. "Isabella!" I called out, my voice echoing across the room. She turned, her laughter dying instantly as she met my furious gaze. "Jack! What are you doing here? What the hell is going on?" I demanded, marching toward her, Ryan trailing behind me. "Who's this guy?" Isabella's eyes flickered with panic, and she straightened up, her posture suddenly defensive. "This is just a friend." "We were. Just a friend?" I interrupted, my voice rising. "You call him a friend while you're flirting right in front of me? You think I don't know what this looks like?" The man next to her, who had been enjoying the moment, now frowned. "Hey, man, back off. You're making a scene." "No, he's not," I snapped, stepping closer. "You're the one crossing boundaries you shouldn't have. I heard your little confession on the radio, and now I see you cozying up to my wife. You think I'm just going to stand here and let this slide?" "Jack, please," Isabella said, desperation creeping into her voice. "It's not what you think." "Then what is it?" I growled, ignoring her plea. "You want to tell me how long this has been going on?" "Not long, I swear." "It just happened," she protested, her voice rising. "You've been so distant, and I thought we were falling apart." "Falling apart?" I shot back, anger boiling over. "You're the one who chose to betray me." Ryan stepped forward, sensing the rising tension. "Hey, man, let's just talk this out." But I wasn't interested in talking anymore. My heart raced as I envisioned my revenge, the way I would make her feel every ounce of pain she had inflicted on me. "I'm done with this. You both are going to regret ever crossing me." "Jack, wait." Isabella's voice was filled with panic, but it was too late. In a blur of movement, I grabbed a drink from a nearby table and hurled it at Ryan, the glass shattering against his chest. "You think you can just take what's mine and walk away?" His friends jumped to his defense, but I was ready. I shoved Ryan backward, sending him crashing into the bar. "You're nothing but a coward. I'll make sure you never forget this night." The crowd gasped, and chaos erupted as people scrambled to move away from the impending fight. Isabella's face was a mixture of shock and horror as she reached for me, trying to calm me down. "Stop. You're making this worse." But I was already too far gone. I turned to her, the hurt in my heart morphing into something more sinister. "You wanted me to pay attention to you, didn't you? Well, look at me now. You've ruined everything we had." Before she could respond, I felt a sharp pain in my side as Ryan shoved me hard, the force sending me staggering. In that moment of distraction, Isabella took the chance to slip away, disappearing into the crowd. "Get back here!" I shouted, pushing through the chaos, my eyes scanning the room desperately. But she was gone, lost among the sea of people. "You messed up, man," Ryan muttered, his voice shaky. "You're going to regret this." "Regret? I'm just getting started." My voice dripped with malice as I turned my attention back to him. "You think this is over?" I moved to shove him again, but Derek suddenly appeared at my side, grabbing my arm. "Jack, we need to go. This is escalating too quickly." "No." I pulled away, my rage still boiling over. "I'm not leaving until I get my revenge." But before I could react, I felt a sharp sting in my shoulder. I glanced down to see a dart lodged in my skin, the world spinning as the adrenaline faded, replaced by a dizzying haze. "What the hell?" I gasped, my vision blurring. I stumbled backward, losing my balance as darkness closed in around me. The last thing I heard was Derek shouting my name, a cry swallowed by the chaos as I collapsed to the ground. When I awoke, I was in a sterile room, the smell of antiseptic overwhelming my senses. My heart raced as I realized the gravity of what had just happened. The betrayal, the confrontation, it was all a blur. "Jack," Derek's voice came from the corner, his expression grave. "You really messed up this time." "What happened?" I croaked, my throat dry. "You were out cold, man." "They took you to the hospital," he replied, his eyes filled with concern. "Isabella's gone, and they're saying she's not coming back." The weight of his words crushed me. "What do you mean she's gone?" "She packed her things and left," Derek said softly. "You were right about everything. She's with Ryan now. I overheard them talking before you passed out." The truth hit me like a freight train. The betrayal was more profound than I had imagined, and the pain cut deeper than anything else. I realized, in that moment, that I had lost her forever. With tears burning in my eyes, I whispered, "I can't believe she would do this to me. I thought we had something real." Derek placed a hand on my shoulder, but it felt like a betrayal of its own. "You need to let her go, Jack. She made her choice." I closed my eyes, feeling the weight of the world pressing down on me. In the aftermath of betrayal, I had lost more than just my wife, I had lost my sense of self, my trust in love. As the reality of the situation settled in, I realized that the quest for revenge had consumed me, and now, all I felt was emptiness. The pain of betrayal had left an indelible mark, and no amount of anger could erase it. In that sterile room, I vowed to myself that I would rise from this darkness, but the memories of Isabella would haunt me forever. The deception had severed our bond irrevocably, and as I watched the door close behind Derek, I knew that the path ahead would be one of solitude and regret. The love I once cherished was gone, leaving only a shadow of the man I used to be. In the end, I had been betrayed, and now, I would carry that burden for the rest of my life.